So, if you're wondering what we're doing today, I need to replace a TCM. For those of you who don't know, it's a traction control module. Transmission control module. I don't focus very well on my own, so I decided I'm going to talk while I do this. Anyways, hard work. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to do it. Because it's in the name. It's hard. But it needs to be done. Nobody wants to put in effort because it's easier to just have things done for you. But when you have things done for you, you never learn how to do them yourself, and you become dependent. Independence, one of the great things this country was founded on, is a wonderful thing because you don't always need other people. When it comes down to it, you can rely on yourself. Which, a lot of the times, saves you money, saves you hassle. No, it doesn't. It doesn't save you hassle. Forget that. But overall, it gives you self-dependency. Now, like I said, hard work sucks. Nobody likes to do it. But I think hard work is really important with teaching you self-discipline, teaching you how to enjoy times of easiness between times of hardship, and this video is also going to be quite scatterbrained, by the way, in case you can't already tell. Anyways, the tricky thing about doing things yourself is there's always a risk of disappointment. I have had my fair share of disappointment because I fail, because things don't turn out the way I want. Or like things just don't go the way you thought. But as much as disappointment sucks, we also kind of need that too. Because disappointment gives us a frame of when things are going well. And when that thing that was disappointing turns out being okay in the end, it helps change your mindset. Because disappointment can really screw you up. It can get you in a weird funk. It can make you just give up. It can make you lose just all motivation to do stuff, because then you're like, what's the point if it just messes up anyways? Here, we're going down here. But, like I said, if you just push through the disappointment, things really aren't so bad. We're probably going to start leaking oil here in a sec. Be ready. Every car I've bought has had major issues. Every time. And no matter how much I fixed, it always just seems to break again and again and again. Now, as you can imagine, that can get very disheartening. Makes you just wonder why you even try, because it just breaks. I don't think I've owned a car that has worked normally in my life. But through all these trials and tribulations, I learned to be self-reliant. Because you probably already know, mechanics are really freaking expensive. It was going to be $3,000 to replace this if I didn't do it myself. But I have the skills and the ability to do it myself, which is wonderful. I have saved thousands of dollars just doing things myself. Do I enjoy doing it myself? I did. I did at one point. But after a while, like I said, it gets disheartening. We are going to put... 1 second. Back. See? Dripping oil. Anyways, so like I was saying, I saved thousands of dollars doing everything myself. And I used to love doing this. I mean, I went into a career where all I do is mechanical stuff. I mean, on semis, but you get the idea. I loved to work on stuff. But after a while, the more you do it, and the more disappointments you run into, you lose your motivation to do it anymore. You don't really feel that passion anymore because that's all you've done. You kind of burn yourself out. Going back to my last video, not last one, but last one where I just talk, the burnout is real. Now, what I did was I kind of distanced myself from working on things. You know, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So I stopped working on things for a while. And honestly, it was kind of nice. Because I didn't have to do anything anymore. I didn't have to do hard work. But I realized I was losing self-discipline. I was like, every time there was something I didn't want to do, I would just be like, I don't want to do it, so I won't. That's a bad mindset to get into. You need to do things sometimes, even if it sucks. It's just something that needs to be done. 1 second, we need to get a wrench. So, I went back into it. Even though it sucked, I still ended up returning and continuing my work and the mechanics of things. Not just for myself, but other people. I did a lot of stuff for other people when they needed it. And like I said, I know it sucks, but hard work is important. You can't just quit because you don't want to do something. Self-discipline is very important. And plus, the more you do stuff, the more hard work you do, the easier that hard work becomes. It's like a muscle. You need to... Oh. That's really dripping now, ain't it? One second. That'll work for now, I guess. Anyways, the more hard work you do, the easier that hard work becomes. Because like I said, it's like a muscle. It needs to happen. And you learn a lot. And you learn about things you never would have otherwise. And most of the time, that hard work you can eventually make a career out of. Remodeling a house, that's hard work. But if you do it enough, then you can turn that into a career. Mechanics, hard work, you can turn that into a career. I did. Construction. Literally any of the trades, they're all hard work. But it's worth it in the end. Nothing worthwhile comes from easy work, I think. You never grow from easy work. Easy work usually doesn't give you much in terms of money, skill, anything like that. But it's a risk and reward. Hard work, like I said, it can burn you out really fast. It can often lead to a bunch of disappointment. It can really mess you up. But I think part of the human experience is struggle. I mean, getting something for nothing, sure, it's nice in the beginning, but once you get everything you want, it's not really gratifying. You look at all your stuff and you're just like, well, that's nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice to get free stuff every once in a while. But if that's all you're getting, then you kind of lose a sense of fulfillment. Like, think about, I'm sure you've heard that one story about the guy who got absolutely everything he wanted, but in the end, he wasn't happy because he didn't earn any of it. He just was given it his whole life. That's kind of like how hard work is. Like, my cars, yeah, I hate working on them. It's disappointing every time I see that light turn on, and it's always something different. But when I get back in it, after I fixed it, and I start the engine, and it runs, there's no fault codes, everything's running great, I don't think I could really describe that feeling. Especially since my car is so important. I mean, I really need my cars. But you didn't happen to see where my wrench went, did you? Found it. I was laying on it. But like I was saying, I get in my car, I start it up, and it runs, and it works. There's nothing like it. It's good to see the fruits of your labor. It gives you that sense of, I did that. It was hard work, but I made it in the end. It's a great feeling. And I wish everyone at some point would feel that. But I know some people won't, because they never work for anything. They just sit there. They don't do much. They're given everything in life. I don't think they'll ever really be happy. They might in that moment, but they won't feel fulfilled. But back to the disappointment thing. Disappointment is a very important emotion. Like I said, it lets you know when things are going well. I mean, light's always brightest right after the dark. So, as much as disappointment sucks, it's necessary to let you know that things are all right, that there was a reason why you had a higher standard. Usually you don't have a high standard for something if you don't usually get it. So if you feel disappointment, I think it's a good sign that things usually are all right for you. I mean, if I mess up a car job, or it doesn't quite turn out the way I wanted, then I get disappointed. But then I think, well, the reason why I'm disappointed is because I'm used to these turning out well. And then I'm like, well, it's really not that bad. I also had to change the turbo on this stupid thing. That took me 2 tries. The first try, I ended up in a really bad funk for a while because I was so disappointed with how it turned out. Sorry about that. Anyways. Yeah. Disappointment's important. Gives you a good idea of when things are good, when things are bad. It's just, every emotion is important. I mean, there's a reason why we have them. Life wouldn't be much good if we felt nothing. And it wouldn't be great if we only felt happiness the whole time, because then you wouldn't really know when you were actually happy. Alright, watch out, we're going up. Also, things happen for a reason. There's always some lesson or some takeaway that helps you grow in the end. Now, I know sometimes you can have lesson after lesson after lesson and it becomes exhausting. But if you think about it, you grew in some way from it. Someone's playing some music. No. Sorry, we had to change angles. Yeah, things can be rough, but it gets better. Again, referring back to my old video, things get better. They always do. Even if it seems like they might not, they do. You're still here. You survived. You're okay. One of the tough things about being self-reliant, I don't know everything, and sometimes I need to. Because sometimes there are things that I don't know how to get off, which isn't something you want. But hard work, perseverance, I'll figure it out. I always have. There hasn't been anything I can't fix yet. But still not done. I'll probably pick back up later when it is, but yeah. Sorry for being so scatterbrained. Obviously, there wasn't really a specific topic. I just can't focus without talking. Anyways.